The American auto industry juggling multiple changes to tariffs that ultimately impacts what you pay for your next car. We watched the president say he will double tariffs on imported steel into the U.S. That's on top of tariffs in place on foreign-made cars and auto parts used in vehicles assembled in the United States. Those parts face a 25% tariff. Because of that, Cars.com reports that the U.S. is by far the most expensive country to manufacture a vehicle. The average new car price of a U.S. assembled vehicle is more than $53,000. That's according to data. Here with us now is the owner of Lakeview Ford auto dealership in Battle Creek, Michigan, Vince Pavone. Vince, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming on. I do want to start with the tariffs being doubled on foreign steel. Can you explain to me how much of foreign steel is used in car parts or vehicles that are assembled here in the United States? And I want to go back to what this means when it comes to the price of cars. $50,000 for cars, it's pretty steep.
We definitely have an affordability issue in the U.S. car industry currently, and interest rates aren't helping that at all. I think that the number one issue for the consumer is interest rates, and it's not necessarily the cost of the vehicle. We have a lot of different programs that we utilize. Leasing is a big one. There's flex buy. There's different things that we can do to help the consumer. But when interest rates are at 9% for a used vehicle, that really impacts the consumer a lot. And at this point, what we're really seeing is that the consumer confidence has gone up in the last month significantly. April sales were fantastic. May has tapered off a little bit, but I believe that's has a lot to do with the conversation about tariffs has kind of, up until yesterday, had kind of been quiet and kind of stabilized, and we haven't seen that kind of whipsaw effect of the escalation in the conversation.
I do want to ask again how much foreign steel is used, and I'm with you. So many people are leasing and interest rates are so high, but could we agree with these tariffs, the price of cars are going to go substantially higher?
Well, I mean, the one thing that for Ford, I can speak for Ford,
Sure.
is that 80% of our vehicles are manufactured in the United States, and only 20% are manufactured in Mexico and China. So we've been able to absorb the shock of the tariffs up until this point. You know, Trump and Mexico have agreed to follow the guidelines of USMCA, which is the trade pact that they negotiated back on Trump's first term. So we've had relatively minimal impact on any pricing up until this point. I think that the steel shock is going to be something that we'll have to bake in. As I've said from the beginning, when people thought the sky was falling, you know, it's all part of a negotiation. If you had told me we would have the kind of sales we did in April and May, back in March and February when this conversation started, I would have said, you know, it's absolutely insane what people were predicting. You know, people have to remember, tariffs aren't a tax. Okay, because we have other options. If we have a vehicle that's too expensive, we have other vehicles. It doesn't affect each manufacturer and each model line the same. And our consumers, the consumers and our customers have been very adept at finding where the values are and purchasing the vehicles that meet their budget. The last thing I'd like to say is, you know, we only started the tariff thing back in April. You know, we haven't even gone through the pipeline of vehicles that we have on our lots that aren't even affected by that. So we're not even going to have vehicles on our lots until probably sometime later on in the summer that have any impact at all on what tariffs are. And up until this point, Ford and the other manufacturers have not passed these on to the consumer. So I have a wait and see approach, and I've had a wait and see approach from the beginning. So we'll see how many as you know, the court said that there were going to be no tariffs on Thursday, and then the appeals court changed it and stayed the decision. So yeah. This is a whiplash. This has been a whiplash for the last 4 months.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.